Thank you. My next question is on behalf of our colleague, Senator Paula Simons. According to the union which represents CFIA meat inspectors, as of this week, 40 federal inspectors had contracted COVID-19, including 21 in Alberta alone. Because so many inspectors are off sick or under quarantine, there is now a shortage of trained people to do the work, and the union says people without the necessary training or experience are being asked to step in. What guarantees can you give us that inspectors have the necessary skills and training and backgrounds to do their job effectively? And what steps are you taking to ensure that all CFIA staff are protected? Thank you.
Thank you. I would say 3 weeks ago, maybe a month ago, we kind of lose track of time these days. We have announced an increase in the budget of CFIA by $20 million, and the objective was specifically to give them the capacity to hire more resources. And up till now, they have hired 70 more inspectors, 20 more vétérinaires. I can't say it in English. So this is new personnel available to do the inspections. We have also entered into agreements with the provinces. With some provinces, it's already done in formal. But we have a very good collaboration, so we can train even provincial inspectors, so we can share resources and be more flexible. And if you wish to ask more details, I can also turn to my the Vice President of CFI if needed. Thank you.
I want to thank you for all the work that you do, and I know you work very hard to support our agricultural community in this country. And I'm also going to take the opportunity to thank those who support you, both your political staff and Canada's public servants, who both of whom have really stepped up to the plate, I think, over the last number of months in this emergency situation to help Canadians, and I think they've done that very well. And that is particularly so for Canada's food inspectors and especially meat inspectors. I have two questions for you. The first is that I think we're satisfied in this room that today's legislative amendment is responsive to what dairy producers and processors have asked for. It will deal with the issue of spillage and waste. While we're on that, my first question to you is this, and I'm going to focus on what the government is doing and has done as opposed to what it isn't doing. Could you just tell us briefly about both new and existing programs that are also supporting dairy producers and processors as we move through this challenging time? The second question takes us back to meat inspectors, and I'm going to follow up on Senator Black's question about those 40 of our inspectors who have been affected by COVID-19. And I think it's helpful that our colleague, the Vice President of the inspection agency, is here with us today. You, I think, dealt adequately with the employment supply chain issue, and I know that we have very capable resources at the provincial level who are able to step up. I want to go back to health and safety, though, and I would like to know specifically what is being done in addition to the measures that I know are already taken, because we're talking about a good professional employer here, to ensure that we can maximise the health and well-being of our food inspectors across this country, and particularly those who work in meat inspections, in meat plants.
Thank you. To start with the programs, the business risk management, I will always come back to these because these are the most important ones. But actually, I could go through a wider list, but let's focus on the business risk management. So the programs already exist. but it doesn't mean that the money will go out. The money will go out only if there's a need, and it can depend. It can be more on one program for a year and a different program for the other year. And the best example for that is agri-recovery. An average year, we use $15 million in this program, and now we have already committed 125, and I'm convinced that it will be more, because we are having discussions right now with the provinces around this specific program. In terms of new programs, we have the $77.5 million for processors mainly, and the $50 million for the surpluses, the $20 million for CFIA. So these are additional measures. And we have all the additional lending capacity and flexibility in terms of criteria that we have given to Farm Credit Canada. You're right that our food inspectors are doing an amazing job in a very difficult environment right now. And this is, I think many Canadians will realize what it means to be an essential worker. It's obvious for the health sector, but realizing that the food system is a critical infrastructure, and our food workers, from the inspectors, the scientific, but also including all these workers in these plants and our farmers in the field and the young person working in the grocery store and the trucker, they are all essential workers for them, and we have to take care of them. So obviously, you've seen the efforts we are making to provide personal protective equipment to the medical sector, but we are now putting in place, and I'm a member of this committee, resources to support the other essential sectors, including food, including transportation, for example, so we can help them find the right channels to procure PPEs. And if I go back specifically to food plants, for example, the way it works, it's really the provincial or the local public health authority who's responsible to give the directions to the owner of the plants, what measures they should put in place to protect their employees and create a safe environment. So while we as CFIA are there to ensure the food safety, we work very closely with the local public health department and the business to make sure that we protect the workers, including our inspectors. And if you want to have more specific information, I'll turn to Madame Peugeot.
Perhaps very briefly, if you wouldn't mind.
Yes, for sure. Thank you very much, Senator, for your question. And thank you for recognizing the work that is being done by our meat inspectors. I certainly agree with you that the overall agency has worked very hard and has advanced its mandate since the beginning of this crisis, and particularly our meat inspectors, given the challenges that they face, have really stepped up, and I think we need to honor and thank them for their contribution. So thank you very much for doing that. And I want to join my voice to yours, actually. Since the beginning, health and safety has been our top priority. As the leaders and the managers of this organization, the health and safety of our inspectors, and we have made no compromise for that. So from the outset, we've been working with the plant managers. We've taken an approach where essentially each plant is different, and each plant, needs its own local solutions. So we have been working with plant managers, we've been working with unions, with our own staff, of course, and with public health experts to make sure that there were preventative plans that were in each establishment, and also to provide guidance as to how to, report and how to make sure that we knew when there were some cases that came up. in the plants, COVID cases, and how to go about addressing the situation to make sure again that there was a safe working environment. So we've done that, and so we've made sure that this various steps and various actions were taken to make sure that we provide a safe environment to our inspectors, but that they also feel safe to go and work there and feel comfortable to contribute to the economy, but to contribute as well to putting food on the table of Canadians. So again, thank you very much, Senator.